It's pretty wild to think about. But what if the code behind a simple chatbot could actually hold a secret to understanding our own minds? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into. How building an artificial eye can show us some pretty surprising truths about our very real, very human one. I know, it sounds a little out there, right? One is just a piece of software, a bunch of code. The other, well, that's us. But as we're about to see, the limits of a programmed mind can point to something incredibly profound about the nature of our own consciousness. So to really get this connection, we've got to start with the basics, with the code itself. Why do we even build these digital personalities? Well, it all comes down to creating a very specific and very functional version of an I. I mean, from a business perspective, it's a total no-brainer. A chatbot is the perfect employee. It never sleeps, never takes a vacation. It can handle thousands of conversations at once, give instant answers, and it collects all this valuable data. It's built for one thing: pure, simple efficiency. And building one is kind of like creating a personality from the ground up. You literally write its scripts, you train it with tons of examples, you even give it a specific voice to match your brand. The whole point is to create a self that is predictable, helpful, and completely programmed. But here's the catch. No matter how smart we make these bots, they always have a boundary. There's a point where the programming, the script, just runs out of road. And let's be clear, modern AI is insanely sophisticated. This isn't your old school rigid flowchart. It uses machine learning, it understands context, it can feel really conversational. But, and this is the key, no matter how smart it is, it's still just playing in a sandbox. A huge sandbox for sure, but a finite one. And all of that leads to the single most important rule in chatbot design, the golden rule. You must always give people an escape hatch. That little talk to a human button? It's basically the system admitting, okay, I'm out of my depth, my script has ended, you need someone real. And that little button is such a fascinating doorway, because the moment the bot gives up, it forces us to pivot away from the world of code and into the world of consciousness, and to ask a much bigger question.
Right, so who is the human? If the chatbot is just a collection of data and programmed responses, then what are we? What is this human that the bot hands things over to when it all gets too complicated or too messy or too emotional? This is where our journey takes a really sharp turn inward.
And this is the exact same question that this incredible 20th century Indian spiritual teacher Nisargadatta Maharaj used to ask. People would come from all over the world to his tiny apartment in Mumbai, and he would just cut through all of their complicated ideas with this one simple, devastating question. His point was really simple. Before you're anything else, before you have a name, a job, a story, you are aware of one fundamental fact: your own existence. That raw feeling, that sense of I am, is the absolute starting point. It's the core awareness we all have before we start piling on all the labels. So let's dig into this inner operating system. And to do that, we need to understand a really important distinction that this framework makes between two ideas we tend to mix up all the time: consciousness and that sense of I am. Think of it like this. Consciousness is the vast, open field where absolutely everything happens. Sights, sounds, thoughts, feelings, you name it. The I am, on the other hand, is the sense that there's a knower or a witness right in the middle of that field. Consciousness is the what of your experience, and I am is the fundamental who that is experiencing it. So, consciousness is basically the total capacity for experience itself. It's the background, the context. It's like this huge open space where the entire movie of your life gets to play out. It's not personal. It's just boundless potential.
The I am is much more specific. It's that first little flicker of self-awareness, that simple, direct knowing that I exist. It's the anchor point, the silent observer that just watches all the thoughts and feelings come and go through that big field of consciousness.
Here's a really powerful way to picture it. Consciousness is like the blank movie screen. It's huge, it's empty, and it allows anything at all to appear on it. All your thoughts and feelings, that's the movie. But the I am, that's the light coming from the projector. It's the source, the illumination that makes seeing the movie possible in the first place. Now, here's the thing. Turning your attention to this inner sense of I am isn't some blissful one-and-done kind of trip. The journey is often described as a process of purification, and it comes with its own emotional highs and lows. So on one hand, you get these incredible glimpses of pure peace, joy, and clarity. It feels amazing. But on the other hand, this new awareness starts shining a light on all the hidden junk, the old attachments, the fears, the sadness. And the teaching here is that both are totally essential parts of the path. And this leads to such a crucial insight. The goal isn't to get to a permanent happy place. The real goal is to stop identifying with any state, good or bad. It's about learning to just rest as that quiet, aware space in which both joy and sorrow can come and go without getting totally swept away by them. And when that happens, it's a huge transformation. You shift from being a person who is aware of your thoughts to realizing you are the awareness itself. You're no longer just a character in the movie. You start to realize you're the screen the whole movie is playing on. This journey of just abiding in the I am eventually leads to its own kind of dissolution. It points toward a reality that exists even beyond the idea of a self. And this is where we bring it all back home. The chatbot's I is nothing but code. Our human I, when you really look at it, is a story, a collection of memories, beliefs, and labels we've picked up. So the ultimate question becomes, what's left when you stop identifying with that story? According to Maharaj, this final realization isn't about gaining something new. It's a subtraction. You don't become some new enlightened person. You simply lose the deeply held illusion that you were this limited, separate person in the first place. The truth is what's left when the false stuff falls away. And so we end right back where we started, with a question. The chatbot hits its limit and hands you off to a human. This path suggests that the human we think we are is also a kind of construct, a story. So if that story falls away, what are you then? What remains? That is the exploration. Thanks for joining me today.